Today I'm going to be taking you through on how I film quick run and gun music videos, from planning to the pre-production to getting framing and compositions right, filming the correct B-roll footage, the editing phase, and much more. This is my friend Ki, an artist out of Chicago who recently became one of my good friends through our bond of creating. Last month we challenged ourselves to shoot 4 videos in the month of January with absolutely no budget, and it turned out to be one of the most rewarding and fulfilling months. With literally just my camera, the Sony FX3, we pushed ourselves to think outside the box, experiment with different techniques, all while trying to make the most of what we had. We found unique locations, adapted to the challenges of not having any budget, and by the end of the month we had a collection of music videos that we were incredibly proud of. And today we were expecting to get some snow in the city, so I hit up my boy Ki and asked if he wanted to go shoot.
You already know I'm down. What's the word?
Okay, let's get into the planning and the pre-production. Before you even start thinking of the concepts of the video, you should really get a good understanding of the song. Familiarizing yourself with the song will really help you get a general idea of the type of shots and mood that you're going to be going for. From here, you can also get a general area or locations that you want to shoot in. Once I get a general concept for the mood of the song, I start looking around. For me, I like to use Google Maps once I get a general idea of the mood and the tone of the song. This allows me, before even directly traveling to the area, being able to scout it using the terrain feature and see what type of shots would work best in the area. Which all brings me to my next point, which will be your location scouting. Depending on how quick of a turnaround or how quick of a notice that you get for this shoot will really determine that if you can actually do any location scouting. If you don't have any time, there's no worries. Just have a good general idea for the shot list that you were looking for and the shots that'll match that tone of the video again. But if you do have more of that time and there is that budget around there and you're passionate about the project, it's really important to quickly scout that location, because things might come up that you don't even expect when you get there. Or maybe you just arrive and you find a different shot that you completely didn't have in mind. But it's a good idea to at least go there, maybe take some iPhone photos and just see what the shoot is really going to be looking like before you even actually get the artist there. At the location, look for a variety in backgrounds, textures, and different lightings during different times of the day, just to try and keep your visuals dynamic. Now here on the screen is a clip from a latest music video that I shot, and it was one of the first shots that we got, and it actually happened prior to the artist even arriving. I arrived about 30 minutes or so early, just so we can scout the area a little bit and get the kind of shots that we had there, just so the artist didn't come in and wasn't wasting any time. I would say even if you don't have any time to come the day before, or I would say maybe just arrive there like an hour or two early, just scout the location and see the compositions that you can have, so the artist just isn't wasting time and you're able to run through things quickly when you get there. Maybe you'll find a really nice composition that you wouldn't find when you were just running around kind of scrambling. I'm very happy with this shot and how it turned out. Actually, we use this the majority of the music video. And here's another quick example on why shot list and location scouting is important, is because right here we got a bunch of shots in this alleyway that I didn't really scout before. It was kind of just happening, which is fine. You'll definitely find some nice images along the way. For me, these shots weren't planned. We didn't end up using these in the video at all. There was about 2 or 3 clips from this little alleyway that we just decided to scrap, and that's why just arriving at maybe an hour or so early, just to get a real feel for the location and the compositions that you can set up. But it also brings me to another point on why having a shot list is very important, because I know visually in my head that these weren't going to be enough shots. I need to scramble around looking for way more different, a lot more that I knew that we can at least handle losing a few or so clips. So if you are in one location, make sure you get as many scenes as possible if the budget and the time is there. You might not even be using some of the clips that you shot beforehand, and so that's why it's important to have that diversity of selection when you go into your edit.
I don't know if you guys can hear me at all, but we're about to do the first performance scene real quick. We in the middle. First one. Like Fred, I keep losing my first day. Said it was doubted. How you gonna speak when you ain't even died? Say you gonna take it from me, but I died.
Now, as I said before, typically with these run and gun shoots, they are a little bit lower budget. You don't have the budgets to be getting these expensive lighting crews. So the best way to take advantage of this, I would say, shoot as much out in the daytime as you can. Depending on the time of year, I would aim for sunset and sunrise. Right now here in the Midwest, it's pretty gray all day. Every once in a while, there's a sunny day. So right now I'm kind of just shooting at all times of the day. Generally aim for your time to shoot around early morning, probably up around until like 12. That's when the harsher light starts coming out. It's going down around maybe 3 or 4 p.m. That's where you get that golden soft glow that can make your videos look really nice. I would say try avoiding shooting at night depending on the camera that you have. For me, it's not too much of an issue since I am rocking the FX3, which allows the base ISO to go up to 12,800. If you're using a lower end camera, this could be a difficulty. Your footage might come out a lot more grainier. It's not going to be exposed properly for you to color grade and log. I would just aim for that early morning or that sunset, which would be perfect. So yeah, if you don't have that high end of a camera, I would say just aim for the daylight shoots as much as you can until you start getting some bigger budgets. Now you will run into some spots where you need some artificial light. If you're shooting indoors, for example, or if you're outside, for me with the FX3, if you are shooting on a higher end camera that can do a little bit more of that low light stuff, it's also nice just to light up your subject a little bit with the light. This is one of the lights that I use, just a super small lume cube. Yeah, if you just need a little bit more extra lighting for a part of their face or to backlight them, say one of those lights can be super handy, and they're not too expensive either. In running gun shoots, you will have to adjust your settings quite frequently with different lighting scenarios, different compositions, different angles. That's why one of my most important gears is a variable ND filter. Say get you a variable ND filter and get you a good one. I would say don't cheap out on these things because it will have a lot of vignette in the corners. I have the Nisi 1:5 stop. This is a very good variable ND filter. Not much of vignette. You can't really escape it on these circular ones, so it's the best you get. It's also true color too, so you're not losing any of those true colors when you're doing the final color grading. It's absolutely a must to use a variable ND filter. Don't want to be cranking up that aperture too much in these cinematic type of run and gun music videos. You can, but I wouldn't say too much. It would just be nice to have a variable ND filter. Shooting these performance scenes, one little thing is that you should have a good speaker for these artists to actually hear their music and be able to perform properly. This allows absolutely no room for any error and just keeps both of your guys' lives simple. Another thing I would add is if you have some more time, I would make sure to get some multiple takes in there just so you can have something to play around with in the edit. Usually per location or per like scene, I'll grab a couple camera angles, especially if we have the time. It just makes it so much more worth it and just adds a lot more layers and depth to your video. Now, one of the other reasons that you want to get multiple takes is it leaves no room for error. The last thing that you want to do is be calling up these artists looking for a pickup day where you guys shoot some more. It just is a waste of time, and it can also look a little bit more unprofessional on your end. This is not the worst thing in the world. This does happen sometimes. I would say just make sure that you're getting everything done for that artist so you don't have to come back, especially if they're paying you. Make sure you are keeping it moving on these run and gun shoots. It's such a nice feeling to have a diversity of shots in the edit, and especially in the final video when you're able just to look like you're jumping from location to location even though you're almost in the same area. It just looks a lot more pleasing to the viewer in the end. It doesn't look like you guys just filmed this in like 10 minutes or so. It looks like you actually put in some passion to the project.
Vejo dominó na esquina banguelo sorrindo de alegria.
Now, onto one of my favorite parts of the run and gun process is getting the B-roll. B-roll is drone shots, shots of cars moving, shots of the artist doing many movements. And this is very important because you don't just want a video that is completely performance-based. Sometimes this can work, but for the most part, to spice up a video, you want a lot of B-roll and type of shots that you can use. One of my favorite ways is to get B-roll through drone footage. That's what we did with the shoot in the city with Ki. As you can see my screen right here, we got a lot of these drone footage, a lot of buildings, plays in with the atmosphere and the location of the performance scenes. Now, when you're getting B-roll, you want to really just make sure you're capturing the atmosphere and really building a story around your video, even if it's just a simple run and gun. To do this, just film the environment, film what's interesting, use slow shutter, use different certain effects that you can use in your editing process, get up close and personal with people's hands, props, any other things that might be going on in the environment around you. One thing that I struggle with, the one thing that I want to get more better at, is getting B-roll of the artist actually doing different types of movements, such as maybe hand signals or maybe a dance or some sort of movement that we can play with in the edit. One of my favorite ways is to do this is to have an artist just move around a lot in a static frame, just so I can do a quick snappy cut back and forth from one position to another. One of the reasons we go back to pre-production is just feel that song, so when you're out there in the field shooting the B-roll, you know exactly what to get that matches the song's vibe and the pacing. And in the edit, you'll have a little bit more room with it. If it's more high energy of a song, you can do these quick snappy cuts, or if it's more slower pace, you can do slow match cuts or anything that's more static or just gives more of an atmospheric vibe. Okay, for this video that me and Ki just shot, we are going to keep the editing very, very simple. I knew that when we were going into it. Didn't want any crazy fast-paced cuts or anything. I just wanted to keep it very simple because that's what we were out in the city to do. It was also very cold, so me and Ki didn't want to be out there too long. Now that we're into the editing part, I already edited this full video, but I thought I would give you one little glimpse. Very baseline stuff, but I want to keep this video like that and just give as much information as I can. You want to make sure your cuts are on beat with the rhythm of the song, where like the beat drops and stuff, or else it's just going to give a very flat feeling to your video. It's not going to feel very professional. The pacing is going to be off. But with the intro of this song, we started with drone shots. I did a cut on every 4 of these little bass drops. There was a lot of like dumps in the beat or whatever, and I just cut on those mostly. So every 4 of those I would cut. So 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3. Play with the rhythm a little bit. There was some where they would jump quicker, but for the majority part, it was every 4 beats. So this one was quick. There we go. And then if you can see, the performance scenes as well are all on beat. Beat drop right there. We cut to the other part using just a little transition that we use with our hand movements to there. beat drop. Even the beginning performance, he was on the beat drop. Right on the beat drop again for that second part. And then again, playing with this last video I did with Femdot, if you see some of the B-roll and the jumpy fast cuts, it was through a little beat swap. So I did it on the beat, and then you see as it cuts at the end. Quick, fast-paced B-roll cuts are great to enhance the song's energy and video, but don't be afraid to slow them down a little bit more. This will allow you to tell more of a story, and that's what I did in this music video here with Ki. Now, one of my absolute favorite parts of the video, and where everything just really comes together, is the color grading process. You should already have a look that you're going for before you even shoot. I usually lean towards the more vintage film grainy style with more pastel colors, and that's kind of how I keep most of my videos. On the video me and Ki just shot, I wanted this one to feel as high quality as possible. I didn't want any grain in it. Most of it was filmed at 800 ISO besides the night scene, so I was able to keep 0 grain in it. That's also another thing I did on the Femdot video, was I kept that 4:3 aspect ratio. For this, I just kept the normal 16:9 aspect ratio. Even through the aspect ratio, it really can just play a huge role in your video's feel. Why I chose that 4:3 ratio for the Femdot video was because it just gave it that filmic look and really brought it to life. And then the 16:9 really gives it more of a modern feel. Over a long period of time of just doing it consistently, you're going to develop your own style. You're going to find what works for you and what doesn't work for you. But anyways, guys, I just want to thank you for reaching all the way to the end of this video. If you did, run and guns can be a super fun way to test out your creativity, and you'll be very surprised with how nice of shots you can get without big rigs or any complex shot. Say for most of the run and gun style, just keep it simple, really feel out the song and the mood that it's giving. And yeah, I would say that's probably one of the most important things, is just staying focused on the energy and the vibe of the music, and you're going to be golden. Over time, you're going to get better and better. Leave a comment down below what your favorite part is and what you would like to see from me next. Thank you guys for watching.